So Ryan Day was hit with this a number of times during his last news conference last week about what do you do to get all these quarterbacks reps, and he really didn't have a good answer. But I guess he's got to think about getting as creative as possible with practice time because there's a lot to sort through.
Yeah, I've never seen it done well. I mean, when you have this loaded a quarterback room, I mean, they got what, 5 guys? I don't know how you get 4 guys reps. 3 is hard. 4, I would say, is almost impossible. 5 is impossible. So I think it's unfortunately you're going to have a lot of kids. They're going to have a very short window to kind of show what they can do to make sure they're rep warranting. Right. I think you're going to have Will Howard. You're going to have Devin Brown. Those are the 2 that I think are realistic competitors for the starting jobs. They're going to get the reps they need. It's the 3 young guys. Lincoln Kineholtz is kind of the odd man out. You got the 2 freshmen coming in. Julian Sayin was above Air Noland on the recruiting board from the onset of that quarterback class. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ryan does it. And ultimately, I mean, spring ball is a little different. You can rep guys more, but he's got to win this year. So the focus is going to be on Will Howard and Devin Brown. And then you're going to have 3 young guys battling for that 3rd spot. And whoever wins, you're probably losing the other 2.
There's a possibility, obviously, Zach, that this could be the best quarterback room in the country, and it probably is. But unlike other position units, there's only one dude on the field. So if that guy is the 15th best quarterback in the country, that's all well and good if he's at Kansas State. But if he's at Ohio State, that might not cut it. And Will Howard's really good. I like what he did at Kansas State. But once you transform that to Ohio State, there's a whole other expectation there. And the 2 reasons that I think he could be better than Kyle McCord is just flat out, number one, he's got 2.5 years of experience where McCord had 0. So he better be a better quarterback, number one. Then, of course, the mobility. So what do you see out of Will Howard on tape?
I really like what he brings to the table, kind of to answer the issues that Kyle McCord had. I broke down 2 of his games, and it really, the kid certainly is not a polished passer. I mean, Buckeye fans think it's like this savior, the heir apparent. And I've been reminding them that this is not even a sure thing he starts. He reminds me more of the Spencer Sanders, Tyler Buckner transfers, where he might win the job, but you know what? He might not, but it might be great for the room and the quarterback that does win the job. Because, I mean, he makes some throws sometimes. You're like, whoa, buddy, what was that? But what he brings to the table is that competitive nature, that fire. Like, you could tell he's a tough kid. You could tell he plays like he's, he would rather die than lose. And that's what they lacked. So if nothing else, they're going to get that intangible value to drive the offense. And with the skill set they have, the backfield they have, I don't know that they need much more. I mean, would it be great to have CJ Stroud? Well, yeah, of course. But do they need CJ Stroud? I don't think they do.
Did you get a chance to look at Cam Ward much?
I did a little bit, and I think he's a better passer than Will Howard, and I really like his game too.
The Buckeyes go to spring practice. It's got to be about maybe 3 or 4 weeks from now, something in that range.
Yeah, beginning of March.
Is it all about that quarterback job, or is there anything else? The offensive line, I guess, needs to get cleaned up.
Yeah, well, they need another guard. They lost Matt Jones, and then they're good. I mean, you would think that with the addition of the kid from Bama, McLaughlin, that adds a piece. I would imagine he'll be the center. But my big one is right tackle. I think their left tackle, Josh Simmons, the kid that transferred in, has all the tools. I mean, he had some bad plays. He had some average games. But you see the tools there. He's athletic. He's twitched. I think he'll be a solid left tackle this season. But the right tackle position, Josh Fryer was not good enough. He just wasn't. And can he get better? I don't think so. Doesn't mean he can't, but I don't see it. And so I think they got a big question mark at that tackle spot. But to answer your question, it's all about the quarterback. This loaded defense, all these transfers, all these players coming back. Everyone's just looking at that quarterback position like, all right, who's going to run this whole thing?
Got Matthew Miller here. Appreciate you being here, Matthew. I have never been in the fire Ryan Day camp as an outsider. If he loses to Michigan this year, is he gone? Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, or the field, Zach?
I would, in order, probably say Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, then the field, just because we know Georgia's quarterback. He was really good. We know Texas's quarterback. He was really good. Texas cleaned up in the portal. I think both those teams are in better positions because of the quarterback, I guess, consistency. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Ohio State could come out of this with the right quarterback, and that could put them above everyone because they're that talented and the defense is going to be that good. And yes, if Ryan loses to Michigan, he gone.
And Caleb Downs is just that crazy special.
Yeah.
100 tackles in the SEC as a freshman.
He's the best freshman DB I've ever seen. Eric Berry's the only one in the Eric Berry and Joe Hayden are the two that I think are in the conversation, but he's just ridiculous.
Eric Berry, like pushing 20 years ago.
Hey, well, you know what, Mark? We played against him when I was at Florida, and he's playing corner, and Tebow tried to pick on him, and he had a pick 6 on us. So I remember him well.
Yeah, and both of them played in the league at a high level. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Hayden and Berry. Wow, Caleb Downs in that conversation potentially. That's crazy good.